Hey, what's up guys, Bajheera here. Got a pretty epic leg day video for you guys, featuring my all-time PR on squats. So as you guys know, for the majority of the time that I've been training, it's mostly either been training for a sport or training for hypertrophy, but now I'm actually trying to engage a little bit more of a strength training style. Maybe not full-on powerlifting, but definitely taking the time and saying, you know what, it's going to take us a long time to grow muscle. We don't want to diet down again for a long time. So let's have some fun and let's try to get strong. I feel like I've built a lot of, you know, like a pretty solid base in terms of muscle mass over the years. And I think now it's time to sort of put that to use and try to get a little bit stronger. So my squats in particular, this also has to do with my training history. I didn't really start training legs seriously, except for the past, I don't know, 3 to 4 years. Because I was a distance runner before that, so training legs hard wasn't really an advantage to me. It would actually inhibit my recovery in terms of my running training that I do, and it would also probably even build muscle mass, which also wasn't especially helpful as a runner who was already 50 pounds heavier than all the other runners. So the leg training really only came into my program when I started training more for bodybuilding. So I feel like I have a lot more sort of just muscle maturity and experience with training, like, you know, bench and stuff like that, which is why my bench is like 330 and my squat is only 365. But that also means that we have a lot of room for improvement in terms of my squat. So I will definitely happily admit that my squat and deadlift are not impressive. I don't think any of my lifts are impressive. But what I am excited about is seeing progress. So I'm more than happy to share that with you guys. So what I did for this day is I did something a little bit different. I was training with my buddies, so we did a little bit of like an abbreviated warm-up where I didn't do my volume before my heavy sets, basically. All of the stuff that you're seeing right now is basically just warm-up sets or sets working up to some heavy singles. And the way we structured this workout was do these warm-up sets, get to the heavy singles, see what we can do. For me, spoiler alert, obviously I hit 365. Pumped about that one. But it wasn't as easy as you might think. I'll show it to you. And then after that, what we did was a little bit of volume. Obviously, I was a little bit tired at that point. But one of the cool things about this workout was, my friend Eli right there in the Punisher shirt was joking that this day featured basically 7 PRs. Because I'm doing a little bit of warm-ups featuring 315. And honestly, I don't usually abbreviate my warm-up, and the weight felt a lot heavier early on. I mean, I was able to do it, but in terms of, like, I think the main thing was I just wasn't as mentally into it, and I just wasn't as warmed up. So I was like, dang, that feels heavy today, man. But we ended up doing okay. But one of the reasons why I was saying 7 PRs is because not only did I hit 365, I also hit right here. This is just still part of my warm-up sets. My last real warm-up set before we started doing singles, I did 335, which at one point was my all-time max, and I did that for 2. And I, you know, that was kind of like, oh, well, interesting. Maybe even though the weight feels kind of heavy, maybe we're still pretty strong. So maybe we can get it done. So that was exciting. And then I was saying I hit the bar. I hit that little safety bar twice with the weights on the way down. But anyway, then I did a 345, which was a weight that I had, you know, to work really, really hard for the last time I did a leg training session. And that time it went up nice and smooth, nice and easy. So here's my first attempt at 365. And I felt really good pretty much the whole time, except right here, I got stuck. I do not normally get stuck there. So just bailed on the weight. A little bit annoyed, that I wasn't able to hit it, but I knew that I could do it. So my buddy Eli was like, okay, so what are you gonna do this next time? What are you gonna do different? I was like, probably just gonna get it done this time. But honestly, what I had to do was power more out of the bottom. So this is another one of those things that I'm learning about training for strength more than anything. So I really had to drive all the way up through there, and that made it a lot easier. I mean, it's like, well, duh, you have to put more force into it the whole time. You have to have a little bit more speed, and that might be the kind of thing that, you know, people who strength train would know, or something that you might even think is intuitive. But for me and the style that I've trained, I mean, I've always wanted to, you know, be powerful, I guess. But when I'm training for hypertrophy, it's a lot about controlling the weight and allowing the weight to sort of sit on you the whole time and really, you know, allow your muscles to have that time under tension effect. But that's definitely not what you want when you're trying to go for your max effort squat or bench or deadlift or whatever, any sort of max effort lift, you really want to generate some power. You really want to generate speed. And that's something that sort of really just clicked in that moment where I failed at 365, even though I knew I could do it. And then in terms of the adjustment that I made was just more power right from the bottom, try to accelerate through, and we hit 365, which is awesome. So that's the first time I've done 365 without any sort of spot at all, so that was cool. And then after that, we did something that we kind of joked about doing last time I trained legs, which was, let's do 315 for 5x5. Let's do it. And it definitely wasn't really easy. But when you put it in perspective, 315 was, at one point, in recent memory, my 1 rep max. And now I'm doing this for 5x5 after squatting an all-time PR. So we're definitely making some serious progress with strength, and it's been a lot of fun, and I'm looking forward to continuing on with what I'm calling like a power building idea, right? Where it's the long-term goal is still bodybuilding. I think that's still something that I'm interested in doing. But the short-term goal and the way we're sort of going to achieve the long-term goal of power of bodybuilding is through this sort of powerlifting style where I'm still incorporating hypertrophy, but the main goal, the short-term goal, is to get stronger because I have a lot of room to grow. So I think next time I do leg training, we'll see if I decide to do 5x5 with this. This day definitely, like, it required a whole lot of energy and intensity, and one of the things I've been trying to do is trying to squat in such a way that my elbow doesn't hurt. I've told you guys my left elbow gets really inflamed after doing this, and I don't think I think it's a thing. It's called squatter's elbow or whatever. But anyway, I kind of threw that to the wind on this day a little bit. I still had a wider grip and stuff, but sometimes when the weight's heavy and you just gotta drive with everything you got, my elbows started to go a little bit more horizontal instead of vertical. And I think that's probably one of the things that ends up putting pressure on my elbow and making them hurt. But you know what? I'm really pumped that we hit all kinds of different PRs today. 5x5 with 315, 335 for 2, and 365 for 1. That's awesome. It's awesome progress, and it's very encouraging. So I think moving forward, I'm not gonna do a day like this where I do a short warm-up, 1 rep max kind of thing. I think that doing my 5x5, 3x3, 2x2, maybe a single at the end workout style has been helping me out a lot. It's still allowing me to capture and train with all that volume that I like, but definitely contributes to me getting stronger as well. But I do think that doing workouts like this, where you do an abbreviated warm-up, where you really get the weight up higher sooner, so you're not fatigued, and then you can go for more like a true 1 rep max. I think that's something that I probably should do every once in a while, just to sort of gauge myself, maybe once a month. But overall, training's going good, making progress, making gains, and having a good time. So hope you guys are too. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace!